In Dust Bunny, an 8-year-old girl played by Sophie Sloan asks her scheming neighbor, played by Mads Mikkelsen, to help in killing the monster under her bed that she thinks ate her family. Dust Bunny is directed by Bryan Fuller, and this film is his solo directorial debut, and Dust Bunny debuted at the 2025 Toronto International Film Festival. Dust Bunny is a film I was a little bit mixed on. This film is kind of set in kind of like an alternate type of universe or reality. Like the film is kind of like a cross between like a Jean-Pierre Jeunet like 90s film like Delicatessen and Amélie, and also like Luc Besson's films like The Professional, because even though it's set in a current life, it has kind of like a heightened sense of about it, and like the production design and the way the characters and talk to each other. Even like the plot is quite similar to Leon the Professional. Like this little girl, she has some trouble at home, and she has to ask her neighbor, who's a hitman as well, to help her, and then they form like a relationship throughout the film, and even Mads Mikkelsen and the girl, they go to this like Chinese Asian restaurant, and Sigourney Weaver kind of plays like the Daniela role in this film, where she gives him advice throughout the film. So the core plot of this film is quite similar to Leon the Professional, even though instead of Mads Mikkelsen killing people throughout the film, it's him helping her with the monster under her bed. But for me, this film had quite a lot of pacing issues when there is not a lot of action in this film. But when there is not a lot of action in this film, there's a lot of talking. Like it takes us 27 minutes into the film just for this little girl to finally meet Mads Mikkelsen, and for them to have a conversation, and for her to finally hire him to battle the monster underneath her bed. So the first almost half an hour of the film is just this little girl being scared of the monster on her bed, and she follows Mads Mikkelsen around as he goes killing people, and there's a lot of CGI, cheap CGI effects, and it just takes too long for the story to get going. But then finally, once these two are together, they do have a nice relationship, they do have a nice chemistry, they do bounce off each other well, and Mads Mikkelsen, he's very curious about her family life, and about her history. Like she comes from several foster families, and she really feels lost in her life. Like she really thinks her parents abandoned her, and her foster parents keep abandoning her, and it's kind of like a nice context between this monster under her bed like eating her family, and her family also disappearing. So that was a nice part of the film. But I think maybe the film shows us too much. Like towards the end of the film, actually pretty much the whole film, all of the adults in this film, they don't believe her. Oh wow, there's a monster under your bed. We can't put our feet on the ground. If we touch the ground, then this monster will come and eat us. But actually, as a viewer, we've seen this monster, and we are on her side. So as a viewer, we are ahead of the adult characters in this film. So when later on in the film, when these adult characters do eventually meet this monster, it's not really much of a surprise to us. So I think it would have been better if we maybe heard the monster, or there's kind of a mystery element for the film, instead of we actually seen it. And I felt a little bit. I know this is only like a low budget film. This film was nominated for a couple of Independent Spirit Awards, so it is quite a low budget film. But I felt a little bit claustrophobic by this film. It's only basically set in like 3 locations, and most of its film is set in this apartment building, in the little girl's apartment, or in Mads Mikkelsen's apartment, and also outside there's a few like short scenes in this kind of like fake Chinatown. It's obviously set on this kind of like soundstage, so this kind of like fake Chinatown, and also in this kind of strange Asian Chinese restaurant where they eat like these really strange foods. So that's basically only 3 locations in the film. So I wish the film kind of opened up a little bit more. But the strengths of this film are in the production design of the apartment is very unique. There's a lot of, as I said before, this film is a kind of like cross between like a Jean-Pierre Jeunet film. The colors and like a Luc Besson film, the colors in this film really vibrant. Like the colors throughout the apartment and outside are very vibrant, and the little girl played by Sophie Sloan and Mads Mikkelsen, they have a nice chemistry and they really have a nice affection for each other. So the production design and those performances are definitely the highlights of this film. I give Dust Bunny 2.5 stars out of 5. For me, this film had a little bit of pacing issues. When there's no action in this film, it's just a lot of talking, and it just felt a little bit slow during those periods, and there wasn't a lot of surprises in this film, and I just don't think the film really has its own identity. It borrows from a lot of other films like Men in Black and Luc Besson, and it just doesn't have its own identity as a film. It just borrows too much from other films, and I just really wish that it created its own world, it created its own identity. So, but I still recommend checking out this film because this film, Dust Bunny, is really highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes by critics and from audiences on Letterboxd. So it's really been embraced by critics and audiences. So I still recommend checking out this film, but for me, Dust Bunny really didn't reconnect. Thanks for watching. What did you think of Dust Bunny? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.